Hello and welcome to the 100-day art challenge. This video should be number 86 of 100. And you can see that my canvas is on an easel. The background is slightly different. You can see a bit of a cat tree, I think it's called, in the right hand side. I'm at my friend's house. My reference is there in the top left hand corner in the background. And the reason being, yesterday's video showed that I was struggling with painting a portrait with white spirits, and my friend, who's a professional oil painter, I asked her advice over the phone, and she said just come round and do a painting here, bring a board and a canvas. And I just ended up painting on the canvas when I was there, because I just wanted to do troubleshooting, I suppose, just to find out where it's going wrong and why. There are moments like that just then where I cover the camera with my palette, so forgive me for that. It's obviously best when you can see what I'm doing. I'm just drawing in the composition with a loose measurement with some darker brown there. So for yesterday's video, I will leave a link in the top right hand corner now. That is where I had to give up on the white spirit and start using linseed oil, whereas for this piece I thought I'm going to do it with white spirit, or at least my friend's going to help me figure out where it went wrong. And at this point I'm just going through the motions of how I paint so that she can see how I do what I do and where the trouble starts to happen. So I've done a mid-tone ground, as you can see. I did a darker outline for the composition, and now I'm just wiping away the light. I like this process. It's nice and quick, and it means that you can do a bit of push and pull, which means that you can, make the light go further or paint it in darker again. It's very loose, and you're free to make certain decisions. And there we go. You can see my reference there just behind. I know it's out of focus, but that's the reference I'm using. I mismeasure, which is frustrating me. The person's hat isn't wide enough, and his head generally isn't wide enough, so I need to close the gap there. But and you can see here from a distance that the shadow on the right hand side of the reference is square, whereas the one which I've done has been rounded, even though the underpainting, you can see I had it square. And I was discussing this with my friend, and I was saying how the shadow which I'm seeing from closer up is rounded, and then there's a slight shadow underneath the is it lapel? I don't know, under the kind of flaps around the collarbone, underneath that part. So that's what makes it look square on the reference from a distance, whereas from closer up you can see that it's rounded, and then it has a slight shadow, and there's an edge of light, and that's not important, so I could have gotten rid of that, and I do at some point. But yeah, so here's me trying to remeasure again his face to try and make his nose a bit closer to the window, just like the reference is, even though I could have gone closer again looking from a distance here. But the point being is that I was trying to get down the basic problem, and I've already changed from white spirit to terps. The problem was the white spirit that I was using, is so old that it was only acting as a cleaner. It wasn't actually acting like a thinner for the paint. This is back at the studio, so this is trying to continue. So I square off that shadow that I was talking about earlier using terps instead, and I wanted to continue with terps. This goes wrong again, just like the title suggests. It's gone wrong, and this is another abandoned piece. I will continue with this one as well after the challenge, so there'll be a couple of videos at some point where I finish off these paintings, and I'll quickly show you how I do it, because I'm hoping to continue these paintings with terps, but it's just taking too long, and I need to do a painting a day, so it's stressing me out that I couldn't do it because I have other jobs to do, so I can't spend an entire day painting. So it was a problem, but I was trying to get some mid-tone nuance into the character, as you can see, so I'm kind of drawing in little details here and there which I think work quite well, and suggesting certain parts. And then it comes to the part of, right, now I'm going to mix some colours and start to get in some of the warms and cools to show that. So there was a line underneath his hat that was too broad when I initially did it, so I just thinned it there. I thought, right, this is all going well so far. I thought I was going to be doing this painting to the finish today, but what happened instead was this. I mixed the colour of the paint and I mix it wrong. And I thought that initially when I put it on, I thought it's going to mix with the brown underneath, this kind of dark brown that I have on his face, and it didn't mix in with it. It just sat on top of it, which I thought was weird. It just sat opaque on top like acrylic would. I thought, that's strange. My experience with oil paint so far has been that when you put paint on a canvas, you then mix another colour, and when you put that on, instead of sitting on top, it blends in and it mixes in with the other paint. And this just didn't happen. So when I thought, right, what I'll do is I'll mix a lighter colour, and then when I put that on top, it will blend with the colour underneath. And it was weird. It was like it just dried. I mean, this is the speed that I was doing this. It shouldn't be doing it. That should have mixed with the colour underneath, and it didn't. It just sat on top. So it turned out too light. So I thought, I'll mix a darker colour. Now look at how quick this is. And it's not mixing. It's just sitting on top. I don't know why this is happening, but it's a problem. It means that light warm colour, and now this cooler colour, and now this slightly warmer colour that I'm mixing on top, they're all just sat on top of each other. I really don't know why this is happening. I spoke to my friend and she tried to say, "I'll mash the brush" and all this, and I thought, but I don't see her doing that. I don't see her mashing the brush. She just puts paint on and then it blends with the other. This is what happens when I use linseed oil, is that I put a colour on and I put another one on and it mixes with it, and it's lovely. That's what oil paint is all about, but this just did not happen. So it was a real problem, and I thought, right, I'll get a lighter colour and paint it around the edges, then it'll mix, and it didn't mix. It didn't blend in at all. It just sat on top of it. It just sat next to it and on top of it and didn't mix at all. So I don't know why there's problems, but problems are happening, and I don't want this to be a really graphic piece like it's looking at the moment, where there's, very distinct separate light mid-tone and dark mid-tone, because I'm doing a really light mid-tone there sat on top of the white, and then there's a mid-tone and a dark mid-tone. It's not, why isn't it blending? So it was weird. So sadly, this piece is not going to be completed today. This is going to be left at this stage where you see it. I want to finish it, but there's too many problems for me to figure out right now. So this is the painting that I've done. It's strange to get this late in the challenge and to fail so frequently, but there we are. This is the painting for today. I still hope you enjoyed the video. I look forward to getting better at this. I will be uploading more. So thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.